person who's speaking not on camera.
All right, we good.
Live.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Shalom. This is the brothers of GMS Louisiana. Louisiana Saints, we got brothers from New Orleans camp, from the Baton Rouge camp, coming at you with another live lesson. But before we get started, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. And to you, sincere Akwaf out there who are listening and doing your best you can to be a good woman in Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom. Hey, with this live lesson, we're just going to get into the fact that we can clearly see that the end is all around us. All the end time signs we've been diligently waiting for, in the process of taking place as we speak. And then what comes next? The salvation and then the kingdom of heaven, for these heathen nations who have had their foots on our necks for the last, with Esau, with the last 500 or so years, and really throughout the majority of our history, all these heathen nations are going to finally be back in their rightful place underneath our feet, subservient to us. The head, which is the tail right now, is going to go back to being the head, while these heathens who are at the head right now go back to their rightful place, being the tail.
So Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine enemies, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee, I will give. Will I give for a prey?
And that's self-explanatory. All they that spoiled us are going to be a spoil. These Edomites clearly spoiled us. They took the southern kingdom from the west coast of Africa and from Europe when they were ruling to the Americas to put them into captivity, the transatlantic slave trade. They colonized the Americas, so-called Americas, and enslaved the northern kingdom and stole their lands. All that's going to be done to them. We're going to take back those lands where these Edomites are. We're going to take the whole world and spoil all their riches, because really these riches belong to us to begin with. Somebody give me that second Ezra 6. The world was made for our sakes. So you can start it where it talks about Adam. You know where, I think 54, second Ezra 6 and 54. Hey, because everything in this planet was made for our sakes to begin with. The gold, the silver, the animals, the trees, the elements, and especially these heathens. They're meant to be our slaves. They're meant to be subservient to us and be our workers, unlike how Jake is known for being a worker now. You go to any store, any restaurant, and who's serving? The nigger woman's the server, doing a bad job as usual. You got Jake or Issachar in the back cooking the food or scrubbing the dishes. Jake driving the buses. Jake being the garbage man, all that. Well, there's about to be a role reversal. Things are going to go back to their proper order in the kingdom, where the heathens are going to be at our beck and call and do everything we need. Well, Jake's just going to simply sit back and rule. And as I said, all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. What's captivity? Going into slavery. And all they...
It's Jeremiah 30:16 from the middle. Right? And it says, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil.
Hey, the transatlantic slave trade. We can't forget the Ishmaelite or the Arab slave trade. And just when we were subservient to these heathens all throughout history, the Most High, even though a lot of these heathens like to be in that spirit of forgive and forget and all that, the Most High never forgot. Every single thing you heathens have done to us throughout our history has been steadily, that tab has been steadily been building up. And now we're coming to the point where you're going to have to pay that tab with your ass and with your blood and with your resources, and especially with your daughters. All that is about to be ours, and we're going to get the first fruits of it. And there's nothing you can do about it.
I'll get the next verse.
Okay.
It's Jeremiah 30:17. It says, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee out of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after.
What's it saying? Lamentations. Is this the? You got it? Should bring it out. Can you give me the Joel 3? Start it.
This is Lamentations chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty?
Hey, just what you read in that 17. Kind of.
That's Jeremiah 30 and 17. Back and further. It says, for I will restore health unto thee and will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they call thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, no man seeketh after.
Is this the perfection of beauty? They walk by and clap their hands and wag their heads at the daughter of Zion. You're not the children of this. You're just a nigger. You're Daquan. You're Jorge. You're a spit Mexican, Tonto, wetback. All the shit we've been hearing. And we can even see this to this very day. These heathens have a disdain for us. You go walk in these fucking Jap stores, these Moabite stores, and they follow you around the store. You gonna buy? You gonna buy? I was going to the bank the other day, and this fucking literally a one-eyed old Moabite like was walking in before me, and like naturally you hold the door open for somebody. He didn't even hold it. He just, and I was close enough behind him for him to hold the door, so I was just looking at him. He couldn't even look me in my face with his one eye. So they still look down on us, call us all these bywords and everything. Jake is the last hired, first fired. Jake doesn't get paid as much as these other people out here. All that is going to be a recompense. And we are going to gain that health. As I said in that Jeremiah 30 and 17, we're going to become that perfection of beauty again. Us being the children of Israel is going to become a well-known fact again. And who our power is going to become a well-known fact. And we're in the beginning stages of it right now with the hopeful elect waking up, that remnant. And what does it say in Hosea chapter 1? In the place where they were not called my people, there shall they be called the people of the Lord. And we're seeing that right now. Again, and the brothers have been out, beginning with our apostle elders, have been out for years, prophesying and preaching on the highways and byways. And then this word has come up onto the internet. And now you got these celebrities, whether set up or actually sincerely saying something, talking about Israel. So that controversy of Zion is out there. And that's all these little feelers out there are just waking more people up and making these heathens more aware who the true children of Israel actually are. And if that's prophesied in the Bible, and if captivity is prophesied to come next, then what's actually going to come next? Captivity, slavery, you getting spoiled, you going underneath our feet. Actually, somebody got that Revelation 13? We'll get that. I'm jumping to Joel 3. We'll get to Revelation 13 when we got your precept to break it down too.
This Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. It says,
Start at verse 9.
Verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
If any man have an ear, let him hear. Hear. And a good point to bring up is where's Revelation at? In the last book in the New Testament. That's right. So-called Jesus came back to save everybody. You had the Apostle Paul, who is the so-called apostle of the Gentiles. Well, so-called Jesus, whose true name Yahushua, did come back to save somebody, but he only came back to save his people, the children of Israel. And right now, only the elect. And the Apostle Paul was the apostle of the Gentiles, but not of the heathen Gentiles, the Israelite Gentiles. Point blank, period. So let's see what it says in the last book of Revelation. It says, that's the New Testament at that, in case you like to say, oh, that was on the Old Testament. It's all done away with. God loves everybody, wants everybody to eat cotton candy and ham hocks and all that.
This verse 10, it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Point blank, period. He that leadeth into captivity, transatlantic slave trade, Arab slave trade, all that, shall go into captivity. So-called white people are Edomites going into slavery, Ishmaelites are Arabs going into slavery, all the way down to these other heathen nations. And he that killeth with the sword, what?
Must be killed with
the sword. Slavery, the Reconstruction era, Jim Crow, Black Wall Street, Rosewood, even 70 AD, and what Antiochus Epiphanes did to our people in the past. All that is being tallied, and it's going to be held in account in the times we're quickly coming into. the end of this age of the heathens, beginning with Esau. Again, as it says in 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world, but who is the beginning of it that followeth? Jacob, the kingdom of heaven, which involves slavery. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And you're going to get viciously put to death in your kingdom. As it says in Revelation 18, do unto them double as they did unto you. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. It's as simple as that. And there's no mistranslations or getting around what that says. That is straight and to the point, vocab, slow cab Malone. Because you are spiritually slow. And you're an Edomite. You probably an Amalekite at that, but yeah, you are an Amalekite. You the lowest of the low of Edom. Found his name in the book of Exodus. Haman. Haman. You got that Haman spirit. Haman Malone. Haman. That's Haman Malone. You right? Yeah. And you look like Jim Jones.
It's the book of Baruch, chapter 4, and verse 23. It says, for I sent you out with mourning and weeping, but Yahweh will give you to me again with joy and gladness forever. As we've been sent out in captivity as a recompense for our iniquities as a whole. Okay, but the Lord, He's going to redeem us again. It says, and that time is coming very soon. We have to, we're in the last seconds of time, all right, of this captivity. And what's like the brother went into in 2nd Ezra, Jacob is what? The end, and Salakia. Jacob is the beginning of the end. I'm butchering.
Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob's the beginning.
Esau is the end of the world, which just means an age. This age of these heathens ruling. And Jacob is the beginning of the age or the world that followeth, the age of Israel. Yasharallah being back in power.
I got tongue tied a bit. It says, verse 24, like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity. And who is that? All right, these heathen nations, okay, the Arabs, the Moabites, okay, Ammon, Esau, all these nations.
Ham.
If I can back you up, like literally in Jerusalem, when you look at Jerusalem's neighbors, from where we are, where Israel is, our neighbors were literally all the heathen. Like literally, they were like walking distance away, man.
You read that?
So they seen, okay, the the affliction of Israel.
And they did that group for? Yeah. Should you go all the way down to
I'm going to hit 27.
Right, yeah, 27. 27.
Yeah, that's heavy, bro. It's my favorite chapter, but it says, I'm gonna read it again. Like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity.
And what's the point you were just making? When you look at like the ancient world,
the
heathens were surrounding us, and we know Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, and it's no different now. We're here in Babylon, in the midst of our enemies.
You just intermingle with
Mm-hmm.
It says, so shall they see shortly your salvation from our power, which shall come upon you with great glory, the brightness of the everlasting. Okay, and that's 8. And we can feel it, man. The men of the Lord can feel this thing. All right, prophecy popping off the pages. Hey, it's coming, man. Though it tarry, wait for it. It says,
get to 27. Jump to verse 30 and read down, and I'll
I got it. Blocked off. It says, my children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from Yahweh. For thine enemy hath persecuted thee. And who is our enemies? Going back to the book of Psalms 83. Okay, it gives you a list, chiefly starting at the top. Our biggest enemy is whom? Amalek. Okay, Esau, but chiefly Amalek, Salakia. All right, and it gives you a list going all the way down to the least of them.
What do they call them? A confederacy of nations.
That's right.
When you look at the American Civil War, or the plantation owning Edomites, what they call themselves, the Confederacy. It's all through the spirit.
You want to say something? Yeah, I want to make that point. The first one where it say suffer patiently.
That's right.
Wrath of the Most High. They these heathens persecuting us, you know what I'm saying? Going through slavery as for our punishment. They by disobedience to the Lord. That's why the Lord said we got to suffer patiently, man.
It was to say back in that Revelation 13:9, here's the patience and the faith of the saints.
That wash your feet in the blood again.
Yeah, because we know things are going fast, but because we're in this flesh, we're like, man, it could just go so much faster. And it's like you feel like the Most High is holding back, which, and to an extent, he is holding back because other prophecies have to come to fulfillment before the kingdom. But once the Most High, it says all green lights go for us to be in rulership and power, then it's gonna go like ain't nothing gonna stop.
Backing up, I could read the thing holding him back. It is us. That's the only reason he hasn't destroyed the whole earth yet. That's right. Ezekiel 9:4. Don't unleash the four winds until you seal my servants in their foreheads. All right, so you really need to be looking at yourself. You're like, damn, why is she going so slow? You gotta look at yourself.
Yeah,
because you ain't perfect yet. Some if the Lord put you in Jacob trouble right now, you would fall short.
that's right.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. You looking out.
And me and our elder brother Yakina talks about that all the time. A lot of the reason things haven't gone like that is because, like you just said, Jake needs to get himself in order. We still got some hiccups that we need to some imperfections we need to iron out and all that. Because hey, we know that the kingdom and the glory is coming, but Jacob's trouble still ain't gonna be a joke. Like that's right. You got to go through the darkness before you can get to the light.
This is nothing compared to what's to come. No, we're dealing with it, and it's going to be spiritual in that day as well, but it's going to be more of a physical thing. That's why we're building up on our spiritual treasures that can hold us over for that short period of time.
No, because we can't rely on the physical during Jacob's trouble. We got to strictly rely on the spiritual, while everybody else's carnality during Jacob's trouble is going to be at the max for these people, because it's going to be straight survival. It's going to be straight murder, raping, cannibalism, anarchy, all that. But we're gonna have to strictly rely on the Spirit to get us through these situations. Examples that brothers always bring up is the Book of Eli. Like that's right. That movie becomes more pertinent the closer we get to Jacob's trouble, because the dude was literally blind in the movie. He couldn't rely on. He was an older man too, like he probably in his 50s or something. He was blind. He had the burns on his body from the nuclear war that happened. And he just listened to the voice of the Most High. How I imagine it, it's like the control him, like, because we already know the Most High control all our groups. So he literally got him to just do everything and get through everything.
The Spirit is like the wind. It's like being carried with the wind. That's how easy it's gonna be, bro.
And
you just gotta flow with it. You can't resist the wind.
That's beautiful you brought that up, because remember in the movie, whenever something would happen, you just see the wind blow and he'd like cock his head and like,
yeah, God.
But I'll read that again. Verse 25, it says, "My children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from Yahweh." And you can precept that back to Lamentations, the second chapter in verse 17. This is a punishment that was given unto us by Yahweh. Okay. Once we went off, and you can read about that in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, they had consequences for going off, and we're living through them right now.
Backing you up, right? In Lamentations second chapter, I think it is verse 17. Agreeing with you. It say, "I will lift up the horn of thy adversary." That was the Lord telling him he's gonna put our adversaries on us.
That's right, brother.
The horn means your strength, your power. And it also says in the scriptures, I'm going to break the horn of your enemies. And the horn of Israel, the horn of the house of David, is going to be risen back up again. And what are we going to be? Sharp thrusting instruments. We're going to be the battle axes of the Black Adams of the Most High, and just run roughshod on these heathens. You can finish bringing down that 25, and then I'll pick it back up at 26.
Gotcha.
And then jump to that 30. And does any other brothers have any precepts?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Finish that 25, and we'll get y'all's precepts and get back to it.
Gotcha, brother. It says, but shortly, for thine enemy had persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and shalt tread upon his neck.
And if I can say real quick, what does it say? The triumphing of the wicked, have that, as it says in Job 20, has thou not heard this of old? The triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite, but for a moment. When we look at, again, because we're in these bodies, 500 years is like, that's an incomprehensible amount of time when you're what, 20, 30, 40, even 50 and 60. That's 18, a young lad. That's like an incomprehensible amount of time. But to the Most High, that's just been a half a day.
That's right, brother.
Yeah, he'll be all right. That's like looking at it, bro.
The Most High, literally, like, you know how you got a lazy day at the house and you just chilling, doing whatever, and a half a day's over, and it's like, man, that day went by fast. Like, I don't even know where that day went. That's how the Most High. I'm not saying I know what the Most High think of it. I'm just giving an example. It's like it's just been a half a day for the Most High up in the spirit world, seeing Esau do all this fuckery. So it's been a short amount of time, and as I said, the triumphing of the wicked, but for a moment. So just as quickly as Esau came into power and turned this planet into a trash can, is as quickly as he's about to go out of power, and we're going to be ruling over him. And what does it say? And it also says the days of eternity. There's a drop in the ocean. We're going to literally rule for the rest of existence. Can you imagine that?
That resonates, bro. The rest of existence. That's
And existence has no end. It just keeps going. Imagine you're going to rule. Death is no longer going to be a concern.
that's right.
I can't even comprehend that in my mind.
It's like victory is swallowed up in death is swallowed up in defeat.
And it's going to be, think about this,
Death is swallowed in victory.
God.
Flock out.
an eternity of righteousness.
I got verse 26 for you. It says, my delicate ones have gone rough ways and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemy.
And we've definitely gone through rough way. Just look at our history. All the rape, robbery, and murder we go through, even to this very day, especially down here in New Orleans. Shit, in Baton Rouge too, Jake is just through. You can find the lowest of the low Jakes in Louisiana, in Tennessee, just in the whole fucking country. But especially in the South, Jake is just busted and disgusted.
Busted and disgusted. That shit, yeah, real
Jake look bad. Jake stink.
Smell bad. Yeah.
Jake
Bad.
eat bad.
bad attitudes, just wicked, bro.
Bad toenails, everything.
The open toe sandals,
Yeah, Jake got no business wearing
no socks, no socks, no socks.
Wear them tube socks with them sandals, Jake. Wear them tube socks.
Got one right. Oh, he said top
Rick,
30.
finish that 27. Finish the 27, then we'll get you all precepts, and then we'll jump back to that 30.
God, it says, verse 27, be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto Yahweh. For if I may say, hey, that's what we're doing right now. Though we may not be actually physically weeping, okay, but we're weeping and our spirits are weeping. Right now, we're crying out unto Yahweh. Okay? We're putting those prayers up in our personal lives daily. We put up these video epistles. Okay, simple conversations with brothers on the phone. Those are cries unto the Lord, man. Lord, look what these people have done to me. Look at our people. Those are cries unto the Lord. We should be,
Backing up.
go ahead.
Like I was just saying, the scripture states, backing up your point. The spirit makes intercession.
That's
With
right.
groanings and utterings of the spirit that can't be uttered.
Beautiful.
Our spirit, when we're asleep, our spirit mourns. Our spirit's clearly mourning right now. And even when we're having good times, our spirits are mourning. I was talking with the bros the other day about this. It's like, I just don't enjoy anything anymore. It reminds me, if y'all remember that first Pirates of the Caribbean, if y'all remember that first Pirates of the Caribbean, you'll know how they had the curse on them.
Yeah.
And they were like, the Captain Barbosa was like, even when I bite into this apple, it tastes like nothing. I don't enjoy the food. I don't enjoy the gold. I don't enjoy the silver. I don't enjoy anything because I'm literally walking and dead. Like, and that's how our spirits are constantly groaning. It doesn't matter the chick you get. You can't. She got her mind engulfed in Babylon, so you can't really have dominion over her. She can go do whatever she wants without consequences. The food's poison. The water's poison. The new video game is just going to be the same goddamn thing as the last video game. The movie's just going to be a shitty remake. The only difference this time is that it's going to be more sodomites in this than it was back in '92 or some shit.
It's getting worse.
God, that's right. Real quick. So this Proverbs 14 and 13. Exactly your point. It says, even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful. And the end of that mirth is heaviness. Laugh and you go straight back to that, damn, I'm in hell. That's basically what life is, man. You get something, you might get a nice check, you get a nice woman, and it's like, this ain't permanent. So what's the point?
Right.
And shit, with that issue, like we're still under the curses too. And we're shit, the curses still affect us, but it's not at the same intensity as it does Jake's outside of the world. So, like, say with the woman, say you're dealing with a woman who's in the world, she just engulfed in the curse. So eventually, this situation is just gonna go south. You can't find any rest.
That's right, brother. Hey, our pockets have holes in them.
Mhm.
Nope. You got it, brother.
Especially if I could just say with the pockets with holes, like especially with these damn cars out here, you make it a nice, fat, delicious paycheck, but then your car is damn near on the verge of literally exploding. So you gotta spend more like 75% of that paycheck just to get your car fixed up again. As quickly as you get the money, as quickly it falls out of your pocket.
Snatched out your fucking pocket, bro.
Jake will come and tap a gun on your window.
Let me get that. Let me get that.
Let me finish it out. I got a little bit more.
Yeah. All right.
It says, and cry unto Yahweh, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you.
And what was that parable that Yahweh Shai brought up about the poor woman who was crying constantly to that. Shit, we'll get all your precepts. We'll go to that Baruch 3rd, back to that Baruch, and then we'll get that Joel 3. Then we'll scoot back over there.
That's
But
big as hell. Anybody remember what?
That shit is you. That
Look at
thing.
that shit. What is that?
Unability, he choked. Locust or something.
don't step on him. He's just a bug.
He choked him.
Tripping,
Shit,
bro.
he in captivity too.
He don't hit a word, but over that though.
Shit. French.
Yeah,
Hey, shake him off.
shake him off.
Hey, let me get that. Let me get that.
I'll kill him, bro.
I ain't gonna kill him. You know what I'm saying? But he gotta go though. He's bugging.
Step on him, literally.
Yeah, he
That's what I'm saying.
Get the demons off.
Demons off.
Demons on them.
Like a 5G intersection.
You want me to hit verse 30? Y'all had something?
Y'all remember what I was saying last?
See, that Baruch.
No, before that, I was trying to make a point.
Hold your point. It's like you're getting money in your pocket, and next thing you know, you'll lose all because got the
Yeah, literally,
being on a curse.
yeah, until we get them new bodies, until we enter that new covenant, we just fuck. It's as simple as that. We'll get some victories here and there, but we're gonna be losing a lot more than we're gonna be winning. So that's even more of an incentive to cry and sigh for this bitch to end as quickly as possible. Kind of. And then we'll go back to that 30. And then we'll that Joel
Going into exactly what you were saying, we don't really have no rest on this side. So this Isaiah 14 and verse 3, it says, and it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from thy hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. Yeah, just like the brother was saying, we're gonna have eternal rest. All right, when the kingdom be established, we're gonna have rest from the curses. All right, from the heathens, we're gonna have dominion and rulership. That's gonna be the end of pretty much looking over our shoulder every day, man.
we're not gonna have demons on us anymore because we know, when you get a wicked thought in your head, and that's a demon. But once we truly are in the kingdom and no demons are, imagine how clear your mind is gonna be. Like, it's just gonna be, you're gonna be winning.
You're gonna be headaches, a migraine, this, that, and the third.
You're gonna be
Sleep paralysis.
yoked up.
Hey, looking at it right now, bro, that's super hard to believe. But hey, that's where our faith coming in. We putting our all into this thing, man, because we want those things. We are heavily afflicted, and we. You want to say something?
I was say, Scripture say, labor to enter to everlasting rest.
That's right, brother.
Back on
But I go ahead with 30, verse 30. Baruch 4 and 30. It says, "Take a good heart, O Jerusalem."
Speaking to the entire nation, because again, Jerusalem, city of peace, is a people before it's a place, and we're eventually going to be the people of peace. The people of peace living back in the city of peace.
That's right. It says, "For he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. Miserable are they that afflict thee, and rejoiced at thy fall."
Hey, And woe unto you, Edom, that said, the daughters of Edom that said, raise it, even to the ground. And then Obadiah, the Most High said, you shouldn't have rejoiced when you saw your brother Judah get cut down. You even helped him forward in our affliction.
Yeah.
So what do you think's going to happen to you? We're going to fold your spine like a lawn chair in the kingdom.
That's right. It says, verse 32, miserable are the cities which have children, which thy like it. Verse 32, miserable are the cities which thy children serve.
Babylon, America, hey, our people,
yeah,
our whole
whole
people,
earth, the whole earth.
wherever our people
That's right.
dwell, they're serving miserably in those cities.
Slaves, bro.
Whether they look like a typical Jake, a Negro, Latino, Native American, or whether they look like a heathen, whether they look like a South Korean, whether they look like a
Taiwanese.
Taiwanese.
It don't fucking matter, bro.
a Hamite, or like but better. Don't have that goddamn watermelon forehead.
It says, miserable is she that received thy sons.
Keep going.
For as she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation.
And in 1 hour shall
Beautiful.
she become a widow and no loss of children. This is beginning when Babylon gets hit with those 200 million nuclear missiles, turning this musty whore into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards.
Right.
And in the dust, after the dust settles, that's when Yahushua, leading those 144,000 black Adams, is going to begin enslaving everybody that's left, beginning with your elites. And then we're going to have free service for the next 1,000 years, building up the kingdom of heaven. And look at how rich these Edomites got off of just having Jake as slaves in America. We're going to have the entire world as slaves, billions of people of free labor. Imagine that's going to be an incomprehensible amount of wealth.
I said, my cup runneth over. It's gonna be more than we need. Real talk. It's gonna be more than we need, but we're gonna be in those spiritual bodies so we can manage it.
Exactly.
Bugging out.
We ain't gonna be niggas with it.
Ultimately, we deserve it.
You know, it's ours.
Hey, we never got it. You don't have to worry about it. But that's 2 Ezra 6. If the world now be made for our sakes.
That's right, brother. It says, verse 34, it says, for I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude.
Hey, what's the saying? Lamentations 5. Hey, enjoy everything right now, Edom, the daughter of Uz and all that, because that cup of slavery is going to be passed unto you, and you're going to drink it down to the dregs without it straight and uncut.
Come on, brother. It says, for it's like it, and her pride shall be turned into mourning.
Keep going.
For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time.
That fire, going back to those nuclear missiles, as well as that concentrated heat that's going to hit Babylon the Great, and then it's going to be inhabited by wild beasts and demonic spirits just roaming the place. And we're
Mad Max shit.
Yeah. And we're never going to have to worry about this place ever again. We ain't going to come back here and do a documentary in the desert. Jake going to be standing there and be like, this is...
The Statue of Liberty.
We ain't even going to worry. Babylon is going to be the forbidden zone for eternity, and we're going to be ruling for eternity from the headquarters in Israel, have the whole planet in our dominion without going too far into things. That's what the Most High say. In my Father's house of many mansions, there's going to come a point to where we're going to do some extraterrestrial expansion. We'll leave it at that.
That first 1,000 years.
Yeah, we'll get the rest of y'all's precepts, and then we'll close down that Joel.
Okay, got one.
You got it.
Yeah. This is Isaiah 49. Let me start at 22. It's backing up the slavery that the Edomites and all these other heathens that they're going to go up. You know, this is again Isaiah 49 and 22. Thus said the Lord, thy power, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles and set up the standard to the people, and they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers.
And who are the kings and the queens right now? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, all these elites. when it says they're being our nursing fathers and mothers and stuff, that means they're going to be our slaves. Is that the same chapter where it says they're going to lick the dust of thy
Yep.
feet?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to it. Again, verse 23. And the king shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet.
So these people that have been the hidden hands, so to speak, your Illuminati, your elites, all that we just know their names. We've never even seen them. That are the real shot callers in the world are going to be bowing down to us, reverencing us as Yasharala, the princess of the power. And then I'm going to get him to turn around. I'm going to kick him in his fucking ass. Your narrow red ass.
It ended up, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
Point blank period. Again, the patience and the faith of the saints.
Oh, gotcha.
We'll get that, and then we're going to cut it short. Just I got it.
It's what's it, 2 Thessalonians 1:6. Right? It says, "Seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you." Right? So the Lord is all about revenge. That's the balance of something. Man, somebody do you something, you're supposed to do them something back. The only time the scriptures say don't do that when it comes to one of us amongst each other. That's when you got to forgive and forget. You got to let it go. You got to turn the cheek. That's what that's talking about. And it says, "And to you who are troubled, rest with us when the Lord Yahweh shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels." And we're in a spirit of rest right now. Like scripture say, though going out from them, they think we're miserable. They think we're dying, but we're in perfect peace. Right? Only because we know what's about to happen next. Okay? It says, "In flaming fire, taking vengeance on them," in the New Testament, taking vengeance on them that know not Yahweh, and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power. All right, so that's what we're looking forward to. Revenge, right? All right, you got to get the get back. It is what it is. I will let you. Every nation on the earth has had their time to rule. The Moabites, the Ammonites, everyone, bro. It's our turn, man. We saw what y'all were capable of. Y'all fucked up. Yeah. Now the earth polluted. The people polluted. The people stupid. They wicked. Right? Stupid and wicked. Sodomites and shit, bro.
Screen, you can read that verse.
Right, but now it's time for that revenge. So righteous order to be established.
I was watching a quick reel that was sent through the group chat. All right. Hey, what is that? I don't remember what country it was, but that guy, he was saying, like, you know, all you Americans do is come over here and spread sodomy. You know?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And who's the chief? Who's that that whore that ride upon that beast? America. Wherever you go, wherever these Edomites go, they bring wickedness, okay? Exceeding amounts of wickedness. Not just, you know, a small bit, but everything they do is wicked. You know, but not to get long-winded, but that's gonna come to an end, a screeching halt.
Nope. This Joel chapter 3, verse 3. It says, "And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink."
As slavery. We can easily go to Google and see how our children were sold as slaves. They were sold for guns and beads and all that. Our people were sold into slavery.
Like what I said, the boys for a harlot. They were selling boys for harlots.
That's wicked.
That's off, bro.
The Canaanites and all that shit. And that didn't happen to you Amalekites. It didn't happen to, it didn't happen to any other nation like it happened to Israel. We'll put it like that.
Verse 4, it says, "Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Sidon?"
We're speaking of those Hamites, which helped those other heathens in gathering up the Israelites on the west coast of Africa to sell us into the hands of the Edomites.
"And all the coast of Palestine."
Those Arabs who helped build the slave ships and also further helped in gathering us up to sell us to the Edomites, the European Edomites, as well as put us into their slave trade, the Arab slave trade as well.
Right. "Will ye render me a recompense? Question mark. And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your own recompense upon your own head."
And you are going to get that recompense with your bodies, with your gold, your silver, your lands, the best of your cattle, all that.
It says,
"They that spoiled thee shall be a spoil, and they that lay prey for thee shall become a prey."
Verse 5, it says, "Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things."
And literally, they carried all our And look at the Vatican. Underneath the Vatican, that's a temple. That's a temple to Satan. They carried the gold and the silver and our records down there, and we're going to get that back, as well as all these other places that you stored up our riches in. And we're going to take your riches as well.
It's verse 6. It says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians.
The children of Judah and Jerusalem, the southern kingdom are the so-called Negroes, and the northern kingdom, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans, have you sold unto the Grecians, the Edomites,
that ye might remove them far from their border.
clearly in the Americas with the southern kingdom, and the northern kingdom was already removed far off from Israel by living here. And then a lot of them were sold into slavery into Europe and other places. We're just scattered all across the planet, far from our home.
Second Ezra 4:30, God shall send you. They willingly, the northern kingdom willingly came to the Americas. Into they call it the land of Osiris. The scriptures also call it Ophir.
It's verse 7. It says, behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your own, and will return your recompense upon your own head.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Verse 8, it says, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for Yahweh has spoken it.
Hey, your children, your women, your people in general are going to be sold into the hands of Judah, Jerusalem, the northern and the southern kingdom, and you're going to be our slaves. And we're going to scatter you all across the planet to have you mine our salt mines, mine our gold and silver, and just build our houses, do everything for us. And then for your great service, thank you for your service. At the end of that 1,000 years, every single Edomite man, woman, and child, young and old, is going to be gathered up and permanently culled from this planet with fire. Right. And that's going to be all she wrote for the rest of you heathens. You're going to be able to go back to your lands and live in peace, but you're still going to be under our subjection. If you get out of line, that's going to be your ass as well.
That's right, brother. That's your ass.
So with that, we hope this live camp was edifying for you sincere Akim and Akwat out there. And again, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled and teach well, and peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. Abba Ball, Abba Ball, Abba Ball, Abba Ball, Abba Ball, Yasharala, Shalom. Shalom.